So welcome to another episode of our weekly Real-Time AI and Java. And now we actually have officially have Cédrick joining us as our host in residence, or however you want to
Right.
call it, right? Sometimes they
Yeah,
have
I'm so happy. So
scientists
now
in
you see my
residence.
face
One
more
of
and
us.
more.
One of us.
Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's always good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also, I guess I earned the right to be more chatty. So yeah, but be ready.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I
great.
just figured, Cédric. I mean, you've been on with us like every single week for like
Yeah,
a month straight. I mean, we
I
might
mean,
as well
yeah,
bring you on.
you are talking about AI and Java. Where do you want me to be? I
yeah.
see some
No,
lights.
that's right. That's right.
That is great. And of course, Cédric, used to be we were together in the big family of deaf advocates. And
Right.
now
The
it's
Dev
good
Advocate
to,
team.
it's
Yep.
like,
Yep.
yeah,
Actually, this week on Thursday, I would be in Paris at AI camp doing some
ah,
magic and demo. So I mean, if you
that's
are in Paris, come John, look for AI camp Paris, October the 19th.
awesome. Yeah,
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll share the link afterwards too. But yes, so folks, yeah, stay tuned for that. And actually, this Thursday too, before we forget, and let's do some advertisement. Jonathan Ellis, our founder, and he will be talking online for the Bangalore Java Users Group. So this will be Thursday, but Central U.S. Central Time is 8:30 in the morning. But otherwise,
Right.
Bangalore is 7. It's interesting, right? They're 10 and a half hours ahead. So they're like 7 p.m. and we're like 8:30 in the
Yep.
morning in Central Time. I think Paris would be like 3:30 in the afternoon. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So
I think that would be a good idea every week to have one slide. What's coming this week with links and people
great
to with QR
idea.
code and
Yeah.
everything.
That's a great
Yes.
idea.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Yes, yeah, we're learning as we go. We're still building. I like that idea. So we'll have that. Yeah,
And I've always wondered too. It's like who came up with the idea of, oh, you know what? I know for India's time zone, let's just throw an extra half hour in there. What is that?
I know. Yeah, that is so strange.
IST
Yeah,
time. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That
It
is
is.
just the oddest thing. But well, anyway.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's very cool. We have to remember to here when we post any event, we have to put in the correct time zone or like references.
Yes, for IST. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, wonderful. So yeah, so today I think we have a couple new things to show, and Cédric will be showing the Astra client, the RESTful client that you've been working on, and also Aaron was just in this exciting AI engineer summit last week, so he has
Yep.
something to share too from your workshop. So that should be great. And then for me, I have something next week because just it's still in the works right now for me. So yeah. So wonderful. So who are we going to go first? Is just
Okay,
edit.
so yes, I'm having some kind of issues with my new laptop here, so we'll just let Cédric share for today,
Yeah.
and see if I can get this to work at some point. But Cédric, the show is yours.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So let me share my screen then and put things into order. All right. So for today, I would like to walk everyone to the experience of how we design the Astra vector, or a new way to use Astra as a vector database. So remember, when you create a database on Astra, you can choose either the traditional Cassandra one, or you can have the vector Cassandra enabled, meaning that there we have introduced the CP that are coming for Cassandra 5. So the support of vector, so CP30, and the support of new indexes called SAI that actually are required to run those vectors. But once these databases are created right now, you still interact with those databases with CQL. And the demo we've done before with Longchain 4J, with stuff, it's all leveraging CQL. But now we consider that not all the AI developer would like to learn CQL. They just want a vector database and that's it. What do they want? They want to insert some vectors and do some similarity search based on a vector. So to hide all that complexity, If you go to an existing database and go to the Connect tab, you will see an API that what we call JSON API. Sometimes we call it the Vector API. And here there is a swagger to tell you what you can do with this API. And it's a fairly generic API reusing the concept of a JavaScript library called Mongoose, which is object mapping for JavaScript to databases, if you wish. And here, so there are three resources, three level. One is really at the namespace level, what you would call the key space in Cassandra. So in a database, you can have multiple key spaces. So here you can list all the key spaces, uh, and you will see a couple. What we want you to know is there is one in particular called default key space that has been created for you and that you will use to put all your stuff in. So, very soon you won't even have to enter the namespace. It will be default key space everywhere. And
Oh,
so
nice.
what you end up doing is simply just work with the collection where you can actually here insert vector, find many, delete one. It's really create, read, update, delete for vector data. In the Java, we call that the active, either active record pattern or repository pattern. Here it's more the repository pattern because it's kind of something called a client or repository that hold all these method, delete one, delete many, and it's not part of the object itself as you could find with
Nice.
active record and Quarkus, for instance.
Nice.
Okay, so we also learn our lesson exposing an HTTP API. It's great for interoperability. You can connect with the language you want there. But as a developer, what you want is a client, SDK, something that abstracts you that complexity and just give you code and simple function to run. So this is what I've been working over the past weeks. It's not finalized yet. So what I will show you is kind of a preview. We
Ooh.
expect it to be GA next month. But here, this is what you could expect from this API. And this is what we call vector native API. And I will cut my end of token because I don't want you to read my token. So
Great.
first of all, we are initializing a single object, Astra Vector client, and the only parameter you need to provide is the key. So today we call it Astra token. Maybe tomorrow it will just be a key because this is what it is. It's an API key. So then in the client, you can directly invoke create database or delete database. You don't even need to go to the user interface. If you already have a token with your existing Astra, just reuse that and create database like that. When the database is created, you want to select it. And here I call my variable vector DB because on that object, I have this delete collection, create collection, or delete vector store, create vector store. So here, important to know, when you create a vector store, you need to actually tell what is the dimension of the vector you are using, because all the magic, all the indexing is done for you. We create the index, and to create the index, we need dimension. So here that method actually have multiple arguments. So the name of the collection is required, then dimension. So, and also you will provide what we call the metric, the similarity metric. Sometimes it's called a measure. And here I would like to say, never call that a distance. I don't know if you have done that before, Mary and Aaron. Do not call that a distance, because in some cases, depending on the metric you pick, the closer the vector are, the bigger is the distance. So it's really to compare
Oh, okay.
how
Okay.
vector could be similar. you do not try to find the minimal distance in between vector. You want to have the highest similarity metric. It's different. It's one divided by what you're looking for, but sometimes it could be tricky.
No, that's a good
So
point. You know, a lot of times when I'm like, using that similarity function that's in CQL, I'll like alias it as score. You know, something just like generic like that. That's yeah. But
yes,
that's a good point.
so
That it's not necessarily longest distance, but yeah.
yeah, in the in the research paper and everything, so they are talking about either the metric or the measure.
Mm-hmm.
You will heard about cosine similarity, dot product similarity, like the name of what you're using and the similarity word under the hood.
Yep.
Never use distance. And because we are talking about vocabulary, sometimes we are talking about vector, sometimes embeddings. Who's who? Who's who? What is a vector? What is an embeddings in the first place? Yeah, again,
Right.
we need to be precise on the term. So the vector of coefficient is your embeddings. See, it's a vector of coefficient, but vector is here like the mathematical description.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It could be a collection of coefficients, and this is your embeddings. And
Right.
associated to your embeddings, what you find in a store, you find sometimes what we call embedded. So a record in a vector store is kind of the embedded.
Right.
It's
Right.
not a vector, it's not a record, it's not a row, it's an embedded. So, and naming is hard. So when you're building a
That's for
client,
sure.
you say, "Oh, how do I call that?" And this is why I told you about all those terms, because lately I'm just asking myself a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So once you get your vector database, you create a store. So a store is a collection with a vector dimension and the similarity metric. And here, so you select your what I call the vector store, and I call that a vector store because long chain, llama index, semantic kernel all use that vector store where you need to persist your embedded.
Mm-hmm.
And so some database like Pinecone, we call that index. MongoDB, we call that a collection. Elastic, probably also a collection. So here right now, I call it a vector store, which is the generic term. Now, as in Astra DB, you can have collection without using vector field. Maybe it will be renamed just collection. So here you will have create collection, delete collection, and here collection instead of vector store. I like vector store because it tells you what you are doing, but hey, maybe I will put both. So when you got that vector store, what is nice to see if, you provide an object. Yeah, we are in Java, so you can actually work with your Pojo.
Right. Right.
Here using Lombok. And I expect the library to marshal the object for me. I just won't get, just a row or embedded key value and, your job to figure it out. No, I want the object marshalling. So this is what I provide in the client as well. And so when you insert, so you will insert something, a document, embedded if you want, with an ID, a payload, which is the bin you are working with, and a vector of coefficients, your embeddings. So here, so you can insert one, you can insert multiple as a list. And when you want to search, here the method is similarity search, where you provide one embeddings, vector of coefficients. You say how many do you need. So no need to get 100 items. Here you really want most of the time to get top 10 at maximum, because what are we trying to do? We are trying to look for context, because that is what you do with similarity search. I will ask a question to the LLM, and before asking that question, that prompt, I need to enrich my prompt with a context. This is what we call RAG. But that context is limited. For instance, GPT-4 can accept only about 32K token. So, and you need to think that one A4 page, one page of written text is about 1,000 token. So it could accept
Yep.
32 page. That's quite a lot.
Yeah.
But to be honest, the less info you provide, the more accurate the context you provide, and the more likely your output will be better.
Yeah.
So this is why this limit is, 5 most of the time, up to 10,
Yeah.
but barely beyond, because you are actually reducing the quality of your outputs.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
I never. I thought you're supposed to give more tokens or in your prompt, but actually, the fewer, the better, is what you're suggesting.
Exactly. I
Right?
mean, because the fewer, the more dense, the more close to what you
Yeah.
try to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There is a balance. So, not all the things are different. Let's say in your vector database, you only have the documentation of the product you want to talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
You can expect that most of the information there are relevant about what you are doing,
Yeah.
and you can have a bigger context.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's say if you are eating a general purpose vector DB, or a store with multiple type of data,
Yeah.
you really don't want to access another general concept
Right.
that will
Yeah.
tweak your output. You want to stay close to what you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's really depending on your data sets. But to be honest, after 5, you can actually switch to another group of vectors somewhere else on the space and get some side effects,
Mm-hmm.
and your context not as accurate as it used to be.
Yeah. 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 Very cool.
Yes, so this is what I'm doing. It's not finalized yet. You have things hot. It will be integrating with Launchchain for J, also for the GA.
Great.
Excellent.
Launchchain,
Excellent.
That's great.
we are really doing what we can. And that's it with me.
Awesome. Awesome.
I,
Yeah.
I I love how you can insert both as just a single embedding and then insert as a list, and of course I love the fact that you're using my simple example of like
Um,
supplies.
yeah.
and but
That's cool.
I mean, I cannot take a few more minutes, but let's say you don't have that object, you don't have product, you don't want to create that object, or in the same store sometimes you have a product, sometimes you have
Mhm.
something else. Actually, what you can do is do not provide anything here. So you will just provide a vector store with nothing else, okay? And here you will get a JSON vector store,
Oh.
okay? And here it's just about key value. And if you want to insert something in that guy, you can go, so JSON vector.insert dot, and here, let's say, you want to insert a new JSON document here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let me go here. ID, and it's, so me now. I like to have super
And then get rid of
here.
that.
So
Yep.
you don't have to work with objects. It's more like working like a JavaScript developer.
Sure.
But yes, sometimes you want to, right? And like you can go JSON document and just working with put, get. You can instead you can even actually go here and have a doc, and here a map. Key value if you want. So K1
Oh.
value 1, and here the vector. So here I'm closing the map and say, here I need the vector. Here we go.
Yeah.
You can do that if you want.
Oh.
So that's part of what makes fun to build a client. You want the experience to be as simple as possible.
Right.
The doc is the client. If I can create a new JSON document and dot give me what I can do, I'm happy. And you provide the constructor with everything, but you also provide a builder. You also provide the fluent setter. it's like, it seems like I'm repeating myself, but not all developers have the same way to work. And working with Pojo, sometimes like Builder, sometimes like the full constructor, sometimes like what just HashMap to have maximum flexibility. So my job is really to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah. Great.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank
Live
you.
coding today. Wow.
Great. Yeah. That's a lot of new info. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think when Cédrick was talking, I was gonna put like some information about his AI camp, but I accidentally already pop it up. But I think hopefully, thankfully, not interrupting. But for now, let me show that again. Just wanting to give this information to everybody here watching, and if it's this is like you're watching it before October 19th, the Thursday. Cédrick will be at the AI Camp Paris live in person event, and he'll be presenting live. So if you are in or near Paris, please consider going. It's free of charge, and you get free pizza or other food. So
Yeah.
so that's
Also, the
Yep.
second
Yep.
speaker will be all about Java and Gen AI, actually. So
yeah,
cannot be more, accurate for people watching the stream right now.
yeah, that's right. All right, very cool.
Relevant.
Yeah. Awesome. And before I forget to, let's also, I'll show, but I guess we can, we're done with the presentation, so I'll stop the screen, right? Yeah, here. But also wanted to share too is one more thing, again, is with Jonathan, will be at the Bangalore Java Users Group, and there will be a virtual presentation on Thursday. Here I didn't put the time, but if you click on that event and you can register, kind of a LinkedIn live event there too. So that's the link for folks to sign up for it. So it's again India time, Bangalore time, 7 p.m. and then it will be Eastern time will be 9:30 on Thursday morning time. So yeah. Okay, and then if it's Central European time, that will be, like I always do the math, it's like 3:30 in the afternoon. So, okay.
Do the
All right,
math.
very cool. Yeah, and then also, before we forget, our QR code, sorry, is on Aaron's face again. That's our Astra database sign up with with Vector DB. So that's up to $25 usage, US dollar per month, and you get renewal of $25 per month. So we encourage you to sign up for that. Okay, great, awesome. I think, and yeah, I think this is good. I think it turns out to be a very good episode. But next week we'll have Aaron come, and then
I'll get it figured out by next week. Yes.
yeah, no worries. It's always some technical kind of challenges we have, and
It happens. We always have a lot of content to share, anyways.
That's right. Yeah, it's never ending.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, great. Okay, so
All right.
yeah.
Well,
so
thanks everyone.
thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next week. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm back next week as well. Yeah.
Yes.
See you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.